Hey, Upper East Sider. Hey, Upper East Sider. Hey, Upper East Siders. Hey, hey, Upper East Siders. The bitch is back. I know I've been gone for a few months. I'm not going to bore you in where I've been and what I've been doing because nobody cares. Well, maybe you are curious, but I'm not gonna tell you because I'm entering my mystery girl area, my Alison De Laurentiis era, so. But anyway, here we are. Let's talk about Gossip Girl 2021. Let's talk about its unavoidable downfall. Anyway, if you notice that I'm whispering, it's because it's 10 p.m. and also there's like noises in my house, and I've been postponing this video way too many times, so I just don't want to postpone it anymore. So sorry if you can barely hear me. Do you know that just a few months ago, the second and last season of Gossip Girl 2021 came out? Yeah, neither did I, and neither did most people. Actually, let me give credit to Frenny Space Ninja because of his video is how I found out that this show wasn't cancelled on the season 1. I guess the show thought, why spending money on promotion when we can just wait for this guy's video? Because nobody was talking about it, not even Twitter. Nobody was saying neither positive or negative things, and that is concerning for a show. Today, I want to talk about how this show never had a chance. Since the very first episode, we knew this show will not be able to carry the mantle from its iconic predecessor. I already made a video on season 1. Actually, I made a video on the first half of season 1 and then I stopped. I don't know what happened there. I don't know why I didn't continue watching the second half of season 1. I don't know whether I hated it that much that I just said, nope, we're stopping here, or maybe I did have a reason. I don't know. And I'm not gonna go back and watch my video because I get secondhand embarrassment from that. I cringe at me. Actually, I don't watch my videos once I upload them on YouTube. So yeah, if you wanna go watch them and see if I made some explanation, maybe not. No, I'm regretting that. Don't go and watch it because. Okay, let's talk about season 2 of Gossip Girl 2021. Just like the OG, the plot follows the lives of Manhattan's elite, a group of friends from Coston, a dysfunctional friend group, I would say, who started being stalked by an anonymous Instagram account called Gossip Girl. Well, anonymous to them, but not for us. We'll talk about that later on video, but yeah. And that's basically the whole plot because I mean many things happen throughout the season, many storylines that sort of live to nowhere. It kind of feels like storylines that only have like one episode length, like Friends or The Office, that don't necessarily follow a plot throughout the season. And hmm, hmm, eh, we will talk about that later. So let's just talk about the characters because I really have nothing else to say about the plot because that's what it is. A group of rich kids being stalked by an anonymous source. Let's go on. Julien is the blondest protagonist I've ever seen. Julien is supposed to be the it girl, the influencer, the Serena Vanderwoodson, the person people is influenced by and followed by. But why? Why is that? The show failed to give us an explanation or a reason of why she is the influencer, the it girl. Serena was just effortlessly beautiful, easy to like, and nice. And Blair was just manipulative, determined to work hard to be at the top and be queen. But Julian, she just has an iPhone and records herself every day giving empty love yourself type of speeches. During the session she makes a lot of mistakes in hopes of doing good, but she never learned from that. We get episode after episode where she wants to find Gossip Girl identity, so she does something that affects her friends. It goes wrong. Obviously Gossip Girl has something to do with it, her friends get mad and tell her to stop because she's only thinking about herself, and she turns on her camera and gives some stupid speech where you think she learned her lesson, but guess what? She does the exact same thing the next episode and the next episode and the next episode, and it just gets so fucking frustrating and annoying. We're giving the same lesson episode after episode where she learns nothing. It also feels like she's a wrong protagonist for the show because, again, there's no reason. She's not someone that drives the plot and makes you feel like, okay, without her, the plot will go nowhere. No, it's not like Serena. I mean, Gossip Girl stars with the return of Serena to Manhattan. Every character, well, Blair, Nate, and Dan started their story with Serena because Nate slept with Serena and Blair is Nate's boyfriend and also Serena's bestie. So, like, everything is sort of connected except for Chuck. Chuck is just there. So, who is Julien and why is Julien that protagonist? I don't know what to say about her. At first, it felt to me like she was supposed to be this likable character that you would easily root for. But I found myself wanting her to shut up every time she opened her mouth. She's the outsider. She comes from Buffalo and comes to the city thanks to Julien. She doesn't fit in with the group no matter how much Julien tries. The thing with her is they try to make her aware of social injustices and be vocal about it, which I wouldn't have an issue with. She would be a reflection of this generation, Gen Z, who is sort of the generation that is the most aware about climate change and social issues. The problem that I have is that they make her unable to hold a conversation with literally anyone without bringing some injustice in the world that makes her look very obnoxious, annoying, and like she's just repeating herself like a freaking caricature. Like she just says everything that she finds on her Twitter feed, and that really bothers me because it makes her feel very superficial. Like she doesn't really care about the things that she's supposed to be passionate about. It's a shame because I wanted to like her. I feel for her in the sense of being new to a place and try to fit in when you know you don't, and also try to figure yourself out. But God, if only they care more about her instead of just making a caricature who only repeats herself. By the way, if you see me looking at this side of the screen, is because I'm reading my script. So if it were for me, I would watch a whole season with just them two. They're only great characters with the most interesting storylines. Noting that in season 1 they were just Julian's minions, I found myself hungry to know more about them and their background. Monet, on one hand, she enters her billion era, taking over as Queen Bee, thirsty for power because she feels powerless at home. We get a glimpse of her difficult relationship with her mom, who always talks down at her to the point of trying to make her jealous when Zoya in one episode for some reason. Her being an evil queen was one of the only good things from this season, but of course, they had to ruin it as soon as they realized she might be more interesting than bland Julien. They made her queen for like 2 episodes and bam, back to being a background character because we just can't have good things. Now, what happens with Julien is just so frustrating to me. In one episode, we learn about her absent mom who left her at 9 years old with her nanny and barely sees her daughter. Luna wants so desperately to get her mom's approval, but unfortunately, her mom cares more about her ego than her own daughter. At the end of the season, we see Luna in many billboards, which leads me to believe she's now a model, which sort of bothers me because I'm glad that she is now the shining star and finally reached her full potential after years of just being a stylist. But why not elaborate on that? Like, we see her being mean to Julien when they both get the offer, but why is she being so unnecessarily mean? That's not her character. If it were from Monet, I would get it, but not from her. If we only get one episode where we hear about her story and the next she falls flat to the background like usual. I feel like the producers definitely don't realize the true potential of these two characters and give too much screen time to people that I just don't want to see on my screen all the time or ever, actually. Okay, let's talk about this trio. Two out of them I don't care about. Audrey is a typical pick me girl who's always angry at something or someone, no personality besides reading books. But even that, we don't know anything about her interests. Does she like romance? Does she like dystopian novels? Does she like science fiction or historical fiction? Does she prefer Harry Potter or Percy Jackson? I want to know those things, but we don't seem to know. It feels like she just holds her books and pretends to. The only thing we know about her is that she cares for her mom and tries to do anything to avoid her mom relapsing. But other than that, she's just annoying. And then Aki, I have nothing to say. He's just there, and I wish he wasn't because it's painful to watch. Max, however, was a character that I liked in season one. I liked Thomas' performances, but for some reason in season two, he takes a step back on the show, and I'm not okay with that. In this season, they're navigating their polyamorous relationship, trying to make it work. But do they make it work? At first, both Audrey and Aki didn't want to go public, which made Max feel bad and he starts acting single to hide the relationship. Then they finally made it public, but other issues began. Audrey isn't okay when Aki and Max sleeping without her, and then Sam goes to the rest. Max says, I love you, and everyone starts acting very weird. Max leaves them because he feels like he was just there to make things between Audrey and Aki interesting, and he felt left out most of the time. Max truly loved him, but the other two don't feel the same for him than they feel for each other. And that's it. It was interesting to see how they were gonna play out polyamorous relationship because I feel like there's a very negative connotation to what a polyamorous relationship is, and most people don't understand what it is, what it's like to actually love more than one person and having a relationship with more than just two people in it. And it's something that I personally would love to see about because I wouldn't say I don't understand it, but I am more inclined to be in a monogamous relationship than in a polyamorous one. So I would have been, I feel like there's a lot of stereotypes into what a polyamorous relationship is actually like, and the show would have been amazing to break into those stereotypes, but I feel like they promoted them more than actually break them, if you know what I mean. Movie is the most boring character ever, no personality whatsoever, who only cares about social issues at a surface level. One day I like Julien, the next I like Zoya, then Julien, then the twins says Grace, and now back to Julien. He spends most of the season besties when Gossip Girl and other two get his mom's arrested to the point he played double agent, and that's the only thing he did in this season. I would say so much hate for this character because he literally does nothing. The thing that bothers me about him, besides the oh, I'm a rich kid and I care about social injustices, like, no, you don't. You fucking don't. I don't want to extend myself with this because I will talk about this later. I actually have a point about this, but that bothers me. Then something else that bothers me is Julien and Avi. Actually, Julien and Avi and Kate and Jordan. So Julien and Avi, they get back together at the end of season two. They made it as if they were some slow burn romance when they actually are not a slow burn romance. When the show started, they were already dating, and we never really got to see exactly how that relationship played out. We did see that Avi didn't fully understand Julian's life or what Julian wanted to do with being an influencer or whatever, and we also got to see that Julian didn't really understand how important, that's a word, how important social injustices are to Ovi. They broke up, and Julian definitely wants to go back to Ovi, but Ovi is like, yeah, did that, done that, move on to the next person. And that's the same thing that happened with Zoya, then with Grace, and then back to Julian. Like, there was no indication that there were these forbidden love or these people that were meant to be like Chuck and Blair but just couldn't be together. Like, no. So the way they made this, like, oh, they're finally back together, like, I guess the show wanted to go for us being like, oh my god, they're finally back together, and I'm just like, Why are they even together? I don't give a fuck. And the same thing goes with Kate and Jordan. Like, there was no indication whatsoever that they both had feelings for each other. And then, bam, one day, they're like, oh, yeah, I actually like you and always liked you. When did that came from? Kate and the rest of the teachers are just the worst things from the show. I'll talk about the show's decision to make Kate Gossip Girl later. But I'll be brief on this. All the teachers are annoying and the way they interact as if they were some caricature makes me cringe. I feel like they were supposed to be these comedic relief, like they were supposed to be the funny characters from the show, but I don't find anything funny about teachers acting goofy and also harassing kids. I just don't see the comedy in that. I don't know if my sense of humor is broken. Maybe it's that, I don't know. Kate in Decision. Well, the story is that Jordan and the rest of the gang are worried that she is getting addicted and won't be able to stop, to which she denies, and she even witches when Georgina is in town. She wants her to take over Gossip Girl. It's sort of proven that if she wants to stop, she's able to. But tell me why, in the very last episode, when the kids expose Zoya to be Gossip Girl, which means Kate will be free, and she seemed to be relieved when that happened. Um, in the middle of the night, when she hears the news of them making a movie about Gossip Girl, like, I can't believe she fell for that. She goes over there to claim her credit and gets arrested. She makes a 180 completely out of nowhere. And for what? A movie produced by Shonda Rhimes and Ryan Murphy? Really? Is that your standard? Now let's talk about everything that I hate. It's a very long list. Can we all agree that Gossip Girl being known to us, and on top of that, a teacher harassing students, minors, was just so wrong. So wrong. Why did we like Gossip Girl, the original, or Pretty Little Liars? Yes, the mystery. Seeing everyone getting hunted by an anonymous person and us trying to figure it out alongside the characters and trying to find clues of who that could be. It's part of the catch of these teen dramas. The decision of knowing who Gossip Girl is, it's beyond me. But the choice of it being a teacher, ew! We're talking about teachers whose excuse is to teach kids to respect them or fear them. Taking pics of them getting undressed, spreading gossip, or creating the gossip about them. Is that really what they want to teach a generation? That it's okay to harass minors because they're rich and disrespectful to impose some respect. Now, in season 2, Kate decides to go after the parents because they're responsible of their kids' behaviors, and that's where they're learning from. So she has to attack from the root. I see your point. I get it. But you're a gossip Instagram account. You're not, I don't know, the New York Times. You're talking about legal issues. You're talking about things that you know what I want. You know what I wish the show was. You know, a 2020 version of the campy OG Gossip Girl show. That's what I want. I want drama about that bitch sleeping with her bestie's boyfriend. That's what I want to have. I don't want some billionaire mom stealing the home of 20 people because she wants to build whatever she wants to fucking build. I don't want that. I just want a stupid teenage drama. And I'm not having that. And that might be one of the reasons why this show failed so much. I found myself watching the show and realizing everyone has their own little adventures, their little stories that involve some people from the group, but there isn't a plot that unites everyone and work together. Not at least until the very last episodes where Julien realizes she needs everyone to work together to destroy Gossip Girl. There's nothing that ties everyone together. And that is concerning. Why are these people friends in the very first place? Because they all go to the same high school? Because, their parents know each other? Besides, most of the storylines were either boring or I just didn't care, so it made me want to skip everything, but I couldn't because I needed to make this video. It was very unlikely to see everyone on screen together, which makes it feel very individualistic. And also, since there's so many characters in the show, it's obviously hard to give each character a proper storyline or a proper screen time. There's a lot of characters that receive so much screen time that I personally don't think they deserve. So, when you're making a show with that many characters, you need to understand that there's some characters that are going to receive obviously more screen time, and some characters where their story or their character development is going to be more developed than the other ones. So, okay, I'm fine. I'm not asking to have a 50-50 on every single one of them because it's impossible. But given certain characters, like let's say on the top of my head, Julien or on Obie, almost the whole episode, when there's other characters that you could have developed their story a little bit more or dug into a little bit more on their background, it could have been so amazing. And also to have an actual plot that you follow from the very first episode to the very last episode of Decision, it would have made it feel like you actually put some effort into your own little show. I'm gonna give you a warning. I'm about to probably get a bit mad. I'm sensing that I'm about to get mad because when I wrote this down, I was being a little bit angry. So, just a little warning for y'all. If there is something that I dislike about reboots is when they are unable to make a show inspired by an old one without bringing up the fact every time they can they're a reboot. Let me explain. When you make a reboot about any show, you know that the fan base from the OG are going to watch it and it will play an important part on whether the show is good or not, gets renewed or not, which means you have to assure they're going to like it, otherwise it's gonna flop. But where they went wrong and so many spin-off, reboot, revival, however you want to call them, also go wrong is in every episode, every fucking episode, they will bring up any character's name from the Gossip Girl universe for literally no reason, no purpose. The point of Nelly Yuki being there in that episode where she's reached out by Ovi to help him, but she can't help him, so she goes away, or Eleanor being there for nothing, or drop name is Serena, or Dan, or Nate, or Blair. Why? They got nothing to the plot, so why bring them up? To make us remember that this is based on the iconic show from the 2010s, but don't worry, we have enough with the name, so we won't be able to forget no matter how much we want to. According to Friendly Space Ninja, I didn't bother to search this because I think it was enough to just watching the show, but I trust him. So according to him, the creator sent an open letter invitation to all the actors who would like to make an appearance. They did this on Doubtful to make OG fans watch the show in hopes to see their old favorite character revive, and that's probably what they thought when they brought Georgina back. But let me talk about that fucking appearance that made me just hate the show even a little bit more, because that was just... What's Georgina's motivation behind wanting to make Gossip Girl better than it used to be? Or even, what's her motivation behind telling us that she breaks into dance in Serena's house and switch their almond milk to full milk because her kid is lactose intolerant? What is the fucking point of she even being there in the fucking first place? Why does she care about Gossip Girl? Like, why does she even care about this new Instagram account who is called by the same name? Why does she even care? Does she know Julian? Does she have some personal vendetta against her? Or she just wants to be evil? Because why does she want to be evil? She's a 30 years something woman. Why does she fucking care? What's, oh, she's just evil because she's evil. Like, no, that's not it. Even I hated when Georgina would be back every station in the OG, because what was the point of her being there? Like, I would understand in certain situations because, oh, she's jealous that Serena is not her friend anymore. She wants to keep destroying Blair or whatever the fuck she wants to do. I get it. But still, makes me mad that she would, every time there was drama, they would just bring her up because we want to spice things up. Why is she here in this reboot? And then poof, she's gone without first telling Kate that she's left with Jordan. And let me add that she also seems a little bit off in the show. Like, she seemed like an AR. Like, she had very robotic movement. Like, she wasn't even there. Like, it was some computer shit. Now let's talk about the surface level awareness. In this day and age where everyone is aware of the injustices happening in the world, I think I've said that word way too many times. I apologize about that, but I don't know what other word to say. I understand why they wanted to include some awareness, but it comes off as fake. The idea of super rich kids talking about climate change or protesting against their very own parents, making them seem like they truly care about these issues when they're part of the issue without knowing. Obviously, I'm not saying it's their fault. Their family contributes to it, I guess. We all do, but them in a larger capacity come off as fake and superficial when at the end of the day they do nothing and go back to their multi-million-dollar homes. Like, even Zoya says it in one episode that she feels like its charity has, oh my god, these rich kids, they're finally aware of the damage that rich people are doing. And oh my god, it's so amazing to see them fighting against their own parents when in reality they don't really do that. I don't know. I hated that, and it's something that I feel like most people collectively hate on the new Gossip Girl 2021. In conclusion, this show is bad. I'm glad that it's canceled. When they dropped the trailers for the show before season 1 even came out, I thought, this might be interesting. Because I like the fact that they created Instagrams for each character, which actually they had no purpose for, but I don't know, it was, I guess, nice. It was different, I guess, and that's why I was like, oh, cool. Back in the day, there was no Instagram, so I wanted to see how they were gonna play that out with social media. And I don't think they made a bad job. And the thing with reboots is that I don't think they're so difficult to make. For me, reboots, they're like easy money when you're creating a show, because at the end of the day, you're doing something based on something else. Like, you're not creating something from scratch or an original thing, because you already know that there's a group of people that are going to watch the show because they love the original, so they obviously want to see whatever is next. So it's basically easy money, and you know that people are going to watch it, so why don't you make the effort to make it good? And with Gossip Girl, it's so easy because so many people have made videos. I have made several videos about Gossip Girl, and maybe in the future I will continue to make some. But where you talk about their issues whenever they went wrong with this and that. So what I'm trying to say, that there's so much criticism from that OG show that you can just grab that criticism and try to perfect that show. I find it easy because you already know whatever went wrong, and you now can finally perfect that. I would have preferred if the show would have been full-on campy rich kid has the original. You can have the best of both worlds, as much as Hannah Montana wants to say it. You can have super rich kids that go to these debutantes and whatever the fuck rich kids do, and then also having them go into protest against climate change when they are the ones going into planes all the time and not using public transport and always going on cars and cabs. And either you have this or you have the other thing. You can't have both things. And I would have preferred that they will go full on campy like the OG. Anyway, that's where I'm gonna leave my video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me talk you through a little bit of where my life has been. I disappeared for I don't know how many months, but it was basically because I have a part-time job, and well, now I'm doing extra hours, but I have a part-time job. I also had a part-time internship, so I didn't have time. And then other issues in my personal life came up, and it's been a rough few months. But now I'm finally back, and I want to continue making videos. I actually have two videos planned. One that probably will not be out until summer, and when I mean summer, I mean like August, because it requires me to read a lot of books, and that's all the clues that I'm gonna give you. And another video that will hopefully come out a week from this video. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. See you guys very, very soon. I promise to try and not disappear. Bye.